The busy week continues for the Seattle Seahawks as we have breaking news here on this special edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. The Hawks have agreed to terms on re-signing defensive lineman Jarran Reed to a new 3-year, $25 million deal. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Let's react to this news coming out moments ago from ESPN's Adam Schefter, who reported the following. Before he becomes a free agent this week, defensive tackle Jarran Reed is re-signing a 3-year deal worth up to $25 million with the Seattle Seahawks per sources. I got to tell you, this is a big deal for Seattle to get this done with Jarran Reed. Now, I will say, I think we all thought that Jarran Reed was coming back. That seemed to be the consensus. There wasn't really any momentum of him going anywhere else. But still, for Seattle here, you look at Jarran Reed, and this is a guy that has been a solid player. He's been a great leader in the locker room. He has helped reinvent this defensive line over the last couple of seasons. And with all the turnover that we've seen among this defense, losing some veteran players like Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams and a number of guys, Jarran Reed has stepped up and become one of the vocal presences of this group. And beyond just the defensive line, but the entire defense as a whole, I like this move to keep Jarran Reed around. This would be the last big contract of his career, and makes a ton of sense for Seattle to get this done. We'll go over more on Jarran Reed. I'll break down some statistics, and we will share our thoughts on the deal to bring back Jarran Reed coming up in just a moment. But first, we want to hear from you guys. What is your one-word reaction to the Seahawks re-signing Jarran Reed? Drop it in the comments section below what your one word is. I'll give you my one word reaction coming up in just a moment. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today. I'll be honest, I'm kind of running on fumes right now. It has been so crazy, everything that's going on, from Tyler Lockett getting released, the DK trade request, Geno getting traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. We've had the Sam Darnold rumors. It has been crazy, and you do not want to miss a moment of it, because in all honesty, this is all just getting started, folks. And we're going to be live for free agency tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is going to be balls to the walls all over the place here on Seahawks Today. You don't want to miss a single moment of it. Subscribe now. Any moves that happen, we're going to bring you a video. We might go live. We're going to have it all covered right here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. Let's get at least 50 subs off today's video, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. My one-order reaction is expected, but that doesn't mean anything negative. Don't take that the wrong way, folks. This was expected that Jarran Reed would make his return back. And I think that you look at the value of this defensive line here, of what John Schneider and Mike Macdonald have done, is that the defensive line was a big issue for Seattle for a very long time. And then piece by piece, they've worked together to kind of retool this thing, starting with Jarran Reed. Then you bring in Leonard Williams. Then you bring in Byron Murphy. And what Mike Macdonald and John Schneider have said is, hey, we're not going to let these guys get bullied around. We are not going to lose at the line of scrimmage any longer. This was one of the biggest detriments that held this Seattle Seahawks team back for so long, was how much they were getting beaten up on the defensive line. But then you start with Jarran Reed. You brought him back to this team in 2023, and that was kind of the first real sign of the changing of the guard, that they were going in a new direction. And they got significant value out of him when they re-signed him. He was kind of an under-the-radar signing when he rejoined the Hawks back in 2023 after previously playing with the Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we talk about the experience he brings to the table. Drafted in 2016, he's played in 139 career games with 118 starts. He has been there, and he has done that. And when I look at the statistics, here's something that catches my eye with Jarran Reed. All right? When you're at this position, where he's at in the defensive line, typically speaking, your numbers are not going to be all that gaudy, because you do not have typically the easier path to get to the quarterback like what you see from your defensive ends and your edge rushers and all that. Even with that said, 2023, he still had 7 sacks and 12 QB hits. Last year, his sack numbers were down from 7 to 4.5, but I'll still take 4.5 sacks. And his QB hits, quite frankly, were up. 15 QB hits, 1 forced fumble, 5 TFLs, and 45 tackles. I will gladly take that for Jarran Reed with what he's being paid, all things considered. You look overall, the statistics from this past season, you add in 2 pass breakups, a forced fumble, the 15 QB hits, 5 TFLs. All around, I can work with that with Jarran Reed. Those are solid numbers that I can live with every day of the week for his value at this position. And he's a real leader. We talk about some of these young cats that Seattle has here, all right? He is playing alongside Byron Murphy, and Byron Murphy is still learning how things operate. This Mike Macdonald defense, adapting to the National Football League. If you're looking to learn from anybody, you chose a good guy to learn from in Jarran Reed, who's been there, done that before. But it's not just Byron Murphy. You look at some of these other young guys like the Derek Halls of the world or the Boye Mafes who are entering their 3rd season in the NFL, and they're getting to see what Jarran Reed does, how he carries himself, and how he directs things. I've heard nothing but positives when it comes to Jarran Reed of how he is at that position and what he does with those other guys there. I think it's a big deal for him. And it's, to me, something that says that, hey, the statistics are one thing, but what you're doing in the locker room is another. And I don't think we can stress that enough when it comes to Jarran Reed. How would you grade the re-signing of Jarran Reed? It's your chance to get the red pen out. A, B, C, D, or F. Way in the comments section. I'll give you my grade here in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys first. A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know. My grade, I'm going to go with an A. And I know that Hawk fans have been waiting for some good news. It has been a rough couple of days. If you were a Geno Smith apologist, that trade was not easy for you to give him up for a third-round pick. Tyler Lockett, a living legend that we all know and love. We knew it was coming, but it was still hard to see him leave. And then DK Metcalf, of course, with his trade request. He's still a member of the Seahawks for now, but we'll see where things change or if potentially an extension gets done. But I think everybody wanted Jarran Reed back on this team. And this defensive line is no joke of what they are doing, what they are investing to get this right. To me, it is fantastic to see that they are doing this and making sure that they win at the line of scrimmage, that they're not going to get bullied around. But even with that said, that doesn't mean the job is far from finished. We saw last year that when this team dealt with injuries and they had to turn to other guys in the defensive line, like Jonathan Hankins and among others, there was a real struggle on that defensive line. So Jarran Reed, Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, that's a good start. But I think you're going to still need some more. And one thing I'll say as we're kind of wrapping up here in today's show is that clearly Seattle is trying to get this defense right first, and the offense is kind of taking a back burner of sorts. You guys know the old saying, offense wins games, defense wins championships. And now that you've taken care of Jarran Reed, you still need to go take care of Ernest Jones. That's a big priority. You took care of Josh Jobe. You got him back. I think you could still use some more corner help. I think you could still use some edge rusher help, but you get that defense in a solid spot. They took dramatic improvements in 2024, and with the investments we're seeing, I think that they're going to set themselves up to take another step forward from here in the coming days ahead, and then with the draft as well, where they go from there. I'm feeling very optimistic about this defense and what Mike Macdonald is doing. For continuing coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today. Going to be a very eventful next couple of days ahead. I've been saying that this week has felt like a month around here on the channel because of everything that's going on, but we're not slowing down by any stretch of the imagination, folks. Join us for live coverage of NFL free agency starting tomorrow right here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.